Hi everyone, welcome once again to A.O.S Abroad. Thank you so much for joining yet another wonderful episode at A.O.S Global um, social media platforms. And today yet we have one of our new how do I call it now? Our new content that we want to share with you today. And this is one of the content we actually saw on cicnews.com website. So Gustavo, hi, hello, how you doing? How's everything? How have you been? How's your day going? So today we want to actually have a kind of discussion and kind of answer some questions. So we are going to be requiring lots of you to ask your questions. If you have any questions as regards to Canadian immigration, then actually put it out, let us know, and let's see how we can learn together. And today we have this article which is titled The Best Cities to Visit in Canada According to Travelers. You know, in this live sessions, we're always telling you about the differences between who a traveler is and who is an immigrant, right? We have said it times without number that a traveler is someone that comes to Canada to whether visit the country, visit family and friends, tour the country. A traveler is someone who came through study, you understand, to as an international student to come and study maybe a 1 year program, a 2 year program, a 3 year program, or even a temporary foreign worker that came to Canada for the purpose of, you understand, working for a contract work of 1 year or 2 years, or even if it has an extended period of time of 1 extra year after the first year or 2 extra years after the 2 years, it's still all those are still considered as temporary residents in Canada. And once you're a temporary resident in Canada, you are basically a traveler, right? However, for an immigrant, if you are an immigrant, you are someone that came into the country right from your home country, or you sought asylum perhaps and you were granted. Do you understand? So you are someone that wants to stay in the country permanently. In other words, you are a permanent resident, right? But today we're not talking about immigrants. We're not talking about permanent residents. We are talking about those that are travelers. Are you a traveler in Canada? Or do you want to travel to Canada? Do you want to come to a country like Canada and have the opportunity of actually visiting various tourist attraction centers, have the opportunity of visiting wonderful cities, you understand, checking out wonderful scenery in Canada, then it is you we are actually talking to today. If you want to come to Canada as a visitor, do you understand? And you want to visit some cities, we have listed, or perhaps cicnews.com website have listed some list of websites that you can visit in some list of cities rather that you can visit in Canada, and of course you're not going to be disappointed you understand in visiting some of those cities, because those are one of the major cities that lots of say to speak travelers are coming to. Lots of people you understand touring, going for tourism to those cities, and they are positively talking about them, right? So, and I'm sure definitely in the list Ontario is not going to be found missing because Ontario is one of the huge what they call it, cities where a lot of chunks of people, you understand, visitors are actually visiting. So that being said, today let's dive in deep to what we have for today, which is the content, the um, newsletter article or the news article, which is the blog article, which is the best cities to visit in Canada according to travelers. It's not according to me. I'm not the one that said it. You understand? It's according to what Janice Rodriguez of CICnews.com, what they have actually seen from, you understand, travelers, what they have heard travelers talk about, the research they have undergone or the survey they have done perhaps, and what people have already said on their research, right? So today, this article has been long. It was published July 20, 2025. You understand, on cicnews.com website. If you want to check the website out, you can check it. You understand, it's a leading website for anything related to immigration, news, and updates as regards Canadian visas. So you can always go check it out yourself. Thank you so much. I saw someone sent a like, which is Botmas. Thank you so much for that. Okay, so a leading authority on global travel has unveiled its list of best cities in Canada in 2025, ranked by its readers. You understand? Travel Plus Leisure is a global publication which publishes its World Best Awards survey annually, right? And based on the criteria such as the site, the wonderful landmarks that Canada has, the culture that Canada has, you understand, the food, the wonderful food that you would see in Canada, the friendliness, how people are friendly in Canada, how Canadians are very heartwarming, how they are jovial, how they are very nice, you understand, to welcome travelers or visitors. And also the shopping, the various marts that we have, the supermarkets that we have, various places you could go shop. I remember in the year, is it 2023 now? I remember I went to Niagara Falls, yeah, in Ontario. You understand? And that is, for those that know Niagara Falls is the waterfall that divides Canada and the US, right? And it's a big edifice. It's a big, in fact, that location, it's massive. Basically, that's just it. It's very massive. So I remember going there and I saw a lot of shops. I saw a lot of people buying things, and you understand. I saw a lot of souvenirs. You know, Canada, for example, is known very much for its maple syrup. So a lot of people will get the maple syrup at Niagara Falls. Some people also get just little souvenirs to take home. You understand, like pamphlets, like you understand, some art works and things like that. So I saw a lot of things. They're very very nice to have. You understand, and the value when it comes to moving to Canada, or you understand, visiting Canada. One of the things is that Canada has much more value than you understand. You understand, you just going to another African country or some other country that don't have that exclusivity, right? Canada has that, because to even become a visitor in Canada, to be able to get a visitor visa, um, it's not something easy for everybody. Do you get? It's very easy for you, but it's not easy for everybody. So it has that value when it comes to the scarcity. It's not everybody. I've seen people that have applied to Canada for visit and they have been rejected 2 times, 3 times. You understand? So it's the value is there when it comes to you actually coming to Canada as a visitor. So today we want to talk about those cities that travelers have said are actually the best to visit in Canada. If you are coming to Canada and you want to visit Canada, which cities should you focus on? Though you can go to other cities, of course, you can go to other provinces, but which cities in the provinces and territories of Canada should you focus on when you are coming to Canada, right? Now, before we move on, you can click on the link on our bio. You can go on aosglobal.org to actually learn more about what do you call it now? Packages. We have the Travel Small Small to Canada package. If you want us to assist you with your immigration to Canada, do you understand, through our licensed immigration consultant, you can always, you understand, click on the link aosglobal.org. Once you click on that link, you can go directly on our website, and from there, we can actually help you work on, you understand, anything, whether it be study permit, work permit, visitor visa, you understand, asylum or permanent residency, anything at all, whatsoever you want, we can always definitely help you with that. So just go on our website, aosglobal.org. Once you go on that website, you understand, you'll be able to see, uh, um, how do I call it now? You'll be able to see Travel Small Small to Canada package and get started with it, right? So let's move on. We were talking about the, okay, oh, nice. I see I can write some things on the, for those that are seeing my screen. So aosglobal.org. Who can see that screen? So I just wrote something on the board. I don't know how. Okay, let me erase it. I wrote something by drawing it on the screen. So that's our website that I just wrote You understand? So let me try to write it one more time for those that can see it. If you can see it, let me know. If you can see what I'm drawing on the comment on the screen. So aosglobal.org, O-R-G, once you write aosglobal.org, you are going to be able to. Wow, that's a new feature. I never knew that feature existed. That's a new feature. I literally drew our website link on it, so you can also see it if I tried. So okay, let's move on. Let's be fast what we have for today. So today we want to discuss, as we said, about the what we want to discuss about the opportunity that is available, which is the opportunity related to visitor visa. Are you part of those who want to come to Canada as a visitor? What are those places? What are those cities you can actually, you understand, visit? What are those cities you can have the opportunity to come to in Canada? That is what we are trying to talk about today. You get so if you want to know those cities, actually stick around for some time to learn some of the cities you can come to, whether you have a person here or not, whether you have a Canadian family or not, you can always come to Canada regardless and just tour the country. You understand? You can tour the country, you can visit some wonderful scenery. Do you understand? You can visit some locations in those cities without you necessarily knowing anyone there. You understand? You can visit some locations. You can get to learn about how the country is. You can get to learn about how to, you understand, navigate the what they call it, the country through some of these cities. So let's move on. We have taken a lot of time. Let's move on to what we have today. So we said Travel Plus Leisure is a global publication and it publishes its world best cities to actually visit on a yearly basis, on a year by year basis, right? So just this year, they also published the cities that you can travel to. You understand? And Canada was not found wanting. You understand? Canada was one of the countries they also featured, and they didn't just feature Canada in their, you understand, rankings. They also showed that Canada is one of the best, is as one of some of the best, not even one, some of the best cities you can actually visit in Canada, right? So, in the whole world, rather, not only in Canada, in the whole world. So we're going to list out those cities. The number one city that Travel Plus Leisure ranked in Canada as one of the best cities you have to visit, you understand, in Canada is the Quebec City in Quebec. Quebec City is the number one city that is stated, and in terms of their readers scored Quebec City at 86.79%. That's to show you that a lot of people really adore coming to Canada, especially going to the city of Quebec. A lot of people want to be, you understand, want to visit the what they call it, the province of Quebec or the city. Just only they want to visit the province, they also want to visit the city of Quebec. So, are you also wanting to come to Canada? Do you also want to work on your visit visa? You can click, as I said, on the link aosglobal.org. You can see our travel small to Canada package there. Fill the form, it's free to fill. And once you fill the form, we can actually reach out to you and tell you how well you qualify for that particular, you understand, um, visa to work on. So Quebec City is one of the biggest cities, and when I'm talking about biggest, I'm talking about the best cities to actually visit in Canada. Apart from Quebec City, even still in the province of Quebec, we still have yet another city that got the second position, which is what? Montreal, Quebec. Montreal, Quebec. That was the number two. It had the number two position at 82.93%. 82 point. People scored it quite high. You understand? The city of Montreal. So, do you want to come to Canada? Do you want to have the opportunity to also visit some cities in Canada? Montreal, Quebec could be one of the best places you can. That is, well, some people will say, okay, yes, these cities are cities that you need to speak French. Well, there are some people that are there that, or most people that are there can speak French, but it's not only for people that speak French. Whether you speak Spanish, you speak English, you speak German, and you understand, you can go there and have a very nice. It's just like France. Some people visit France and they don't speak French. You understand? You just go there, have a very nice time. You can go there with your spouse. You understand? You can go enjoy yourself, go have a nice time over there, and you understand? Enjoy the scenery and enjoy the food. You understand? Enjoy, just like they said they ranked these cities based on their wonderful sites, wonderful landmarks. You understand? Based on their culture, based on their food, their friendliness, how the residents are friendly. You understand? And based on the shopping, how you can be able to shop there and the value of you actually going there. So it is just like others. Go to Paris, for example. Paris is one of the world most visited, you understand, cities in the world. You understand? So a lot of people that even visit, they don't speak French. So you can visit some of these cities without necessarily having French as a first language, or you understand, being very fluent in the French language. So Quebec actually took the first two cities. Vancouver, British Columbia is the third best city to visit, as you understand, informed to us by Travel Plus Leisure, which is the global publication that ranked this city as one of the best cities in Canada to visit. And Vancouver, British Columbia, especially for people that don't like the cold weather, people that don't like the, you understand, snow, it has been said that that city is quite warmer. It's warmer compared to, you understand, places like Nova Scotia, you understand, Prince Edward Island, and other places that are very, very cold. So Montreal, Quebec is a very good city. Is one of the first top five cities you can visit. So Quebec right now ranks around 82.79%. 82.79% out of the scores that the readers actually ranked it. So a lot of people really go to Vancouver, British Columbia. I remember I was watching one documentary, or is it news article or so, or news broadcast, and they were talking about the beautiful scenery in Vancouver, British Columbia. Though living in that place is more expensive. You understand? It's more expensive. In fact, some people say it's more expensive than Ontario, but of course, you know, what's up with Obeto Dun, Owolopa in Yoruba. So anything that is good, anything that is sweet, it has to be expensive. You know, and you value it. Quebec is much more cheaper, though. I believe people have said that. You understand about Quebec and places like Ottawa, it's much more cheaper. You understand than the mainstream Vancouver or Toronto, Ontario. But most times I kind of, because I am in Ontario, I am in Toronto, so I kind of believe that it's based on how you see it. It's based on how you understand work on your immigration. It's based on how you plan your 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 life in Canada. Because even though Ontario is expensive, even though yes, um, the cost of things are much more expensive in this place. I do always kind of do a kind of comparison. I say, okay, if you are going to places like Newfoundland or New Brunswick or Newfoundland and Labrador or Prince Edward Island, some of those places are secluded. Some of those places you may not have access to as much jobs as you would have in Ontario. So, first in terms of jobs, two in terms of community, you may not have as much community as diverse that we have, you understand, some of these communities in Ontario, like okay, where we have, you understand, communities of the Chinese, we have Indian community, Philippines community, and it's not just a community of just not one or two people. There are lots of people that you would see, you understand, in some of the cities in Ontario. You know, and also you also have access to a lot of amenities. You have access to, even for the fact that in Ontario, yeah, places are cold in Ontario, but it's not as cold as some of the places in the northern area or in the rural areas. So for me, there are pros and cons to everywhere, right? There are pros and cons to everywhere. Some places may be much more habitable, you may live there very well, and there are some places that may be much more harsh. There are some places that may be cheaper, you understand, like northern provinces, and there are some places that may be more expensive but I would say more or less the quality of life there or the quality of jobs that you get there are quite better and numerous, right? There are more options to choose from. So that's just my own 2 cents. When we move on to the fourth city that was ranked according to Travel Plus Leisure. Halifax, Nova Scotia, also is one of the best Canadian cities for visiting. You understand, or for visitors that have their visit visas and want to come and tour the country. So Halifax, Nova Scotia is the fourth with 82.26%. A lot of people ranked it quite high to actually visit. There are a lot of wonderful places, you understand, in Canada. Halifax is one of the places, for example, when I went to downtown Toronto and I went to, you understand, apply for the Canadian Navy. I remembered that one of some of the comrades, some of the officers, they said they were in Halifax, Nova Scotia. They went there, they were posted there, you understand, and some people were saying how beautiful the place is. The only thing is kind of secluded. It's not as lively as Toronto, where there are a lot of, you understand, activities, a lot of parties, a lot of engagements and things like that. So I think in terms of the scenery, Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada is also beautiful. It has a lot of things that you understand that are pleasant to the eyes to see. Their food is actually okay. You understand they are also friendly, lots of shopping opportunities and the likes. But basically, for me, yeah, I don't mind staying in Ontario. I don't mind staying in Toronto. I love this place that we have. You understand? But now, as well, we have the fifth ranked city in Canada, which is Victoria, British Columbia. Now, so that means Quebec took two cities out of the top five. British Columbia also took two cities. The province of British Columbia also had two cities out of the top five. So Victoria, British Columbia is the fifth best city according to this ranking, and it had 80.70%. You understand, in terms of the ranking, based on the readers of the Travel Plus Leisure publication. So for me, no, I don't mind. There's some of those places. I yearn to visit places like Quebec, British Columbia, Nova Scotia to go see for myself. I've just been touring around Ontario. So next, by God's grace, I believe I should be able to tour other provinces and see for myself how beautiful and how the food, you understand, in some of these locations are considered better than, you understand, or you understand, much more comfortable or much more, you understand, delicious than what do you call it, foods in Ontario. But that's the list. The list of the favorite cities in Canada for 2025 is also quite similar. This list is also quite similar to the 2024 list, with no Ontario city having been included. So sadly, this year, you understand, there was no. I was thinking Ontario City would be there, but it was not there because I'm just also reading this article. So it's not also there. But what are the best cities to visit in Canada in 2025? You may ask. So, based on these best cities, they said this year's list names three provincial capitals among the best cities in Canada. So, Quebec was the first city, as we said initially, and they said Quebec City topped the list once more, making this the 10th time in a row that it was named in the annual list of reader favorite cities in Canada. And according to readers, it was the French architecture, the winding street, the food and the shopping, and the historic atmosphere of Vieux Quebec. You understand? And the UNESCO World Heritage listed Old Town that earned it its spot. You understand? That earned it this number one spot, which is the Quebec City. So some recommended visiting Quebec City in lieu of a trip to Paris. Now, you know, we were talking about Paris initially, while others said it was a city that really needed to be experienced in the winter. Well, and we're in the winter right now. Snow is basically falling right now. So perhaps maybe I would visit Quebec one of these days during this winter, whether December or January or February. So it seems the readers of this publication stated that Quebec City is wonderful to visit. And funny enough, shockingly, they said it's even better to visit Quebec than to visit Paris. And I've always dreamt of visiting Paris for myself, and I've always dreamt of visiting Paris, going along with my, you understand, um, my family. But I believe perhaps now that I'm in Canada, I can take the advantage of visiting Quebec from Ontario. And I think we're much more closer to Quebec than even other provinces, because in Ontario, in Toronto here, for example, I can just go to downtown Toronto and take a train. Yes, I think I can just take a train down there and I move down there. So I think maybe I'll plan one of, maybe we can have a kind of staycation this year, because this year we didn't get to travel out of the country of Canada. So maybe we can have a staycation where we'll go to a nearby province. You understand? And we'll just go and enjoy ourselves. So, okay, that's one of the cities. Quebec City in Quebec is one of the first cities to visit if you want to come to Canada as a visitor. If you want to visit the province of Quebec, it's a very wonderful city to visit. And I implore any of you, you understand, that is looking at visiting Quebec to visiting Canada, to visit the city of Quebec. If you want us to assist you on your plans to visit um, Canada, you can click on the link, which is aosglobal.org. You'll see our travel small small to Canada package. You understand there, and we can actually assist you through that. Right. So Montreal, Quebec is the second city, and they said Montreal also consistently ranks among the best cities in Canada because it was named among the top 10 global cities for international students in the year 2025. Now, what does that mean? That means that a lot of international students, a lot of students coming from India, from Pakistan, from China, from, you understand, Nigeria, from Cameroon, from Burkina Faso, from Benin Republic, from Ghana, from South Africa, from all the world exactly. Many of those international students actually go study in the province of Montreal, Quebec. And it may shock you to know that even if you go there and you don't even speak in French, you understand, competently, you don't speak French fluently, you can as well still walk around, you can as well still even school in the province of Quebec, without necessarily being a, you understand, French speaker, right? Because there are some programs that I know, just like in Paris, France, there's some programs in Montreal, Quebec, that you can actually get into by, you understand, speaking English. You don't need to speak, like, the mode of instruction, the medium of instruction is in English. There are some that may require you to take some preparatory courses in French, and there are some that you can just even take your diploma or your certificate or your degree, you understand, making use of English, you understand, as your medium of instruction. So that is another place that you can visit, one, and not only visit, but have the opportunity to also school there in the province, you understand, of Quebec, especially in the city of what? Montreal, Quebec. Now, they said for those planning a trip, Montreal offers a blend of European charm with North American energy. What does that mean? So, if you like to go to Europe, if you like to go to Europe and you are someone that would like to also have that kind of experience of the combination of Europe together with the Northern American ambience, you can go to Montreal, and Montreal is not going to disappoint you. You understand, when you want to come to Canada to visit the province of Quebec. So they said the city of Montreal is known for its top-notch music festivals. So a lot of people go there due to their festivals, due to their galleries, their arts galleries, due to their restaurants. So they have a lot of things, a lot of food to eat, to choose from, and historic downtown area. In their historic downtown area as well, there are a lot of things that you could see there and actually enjoy the scenery over there. So after talking about the cities of Quebec, which is Quebec City and Montreal, the next city is Vancouver, the city of Vancouver, British Columbia. So for those who like to come to much more English-speaking locations in Canada, Vancouver, British Columbia is one of the very good places you can actually visit. And they said the West Coast hub is regularly ranked is regularly ranked among the Canada's top cities, be it for livability or for offering a great quality of life. So again, if you want us to assist you with working on your, you understand, visitor visa together with our immigration consultant. We can actually get firstly your interest by visiting our website, aosglobal.org. Once you visit that website and you click on the Travel Small to Canada package, you fill the form. Once you fill the form, one of our team members, you understand, from Kestra Immigration and Settlement Services, are going to reach out to you to work on your what? To work on your visitor visas. So that's one of the very good ways a lot of people come to Canada, you understand, to tour the country or to visit family and friends. So basically, they said for those planning a visit to Canada, Vancouver is known for its world-class restaurants. So there are lots of wonderful restaurants you could go eat. You understand, lots of food you could choose from. There is also the natural beauty because, of course, Vancouver, British Columbia, it has a lot of scenery you could enjoy. The ambience is cool. You understand, and also a hiking opportunity, hiking spots. There for those who like to take a walk, you can enjoy taking a walk around Vancouver, British Columbia. Though we're in the winter, but in Vancouver, British Columbia, the weather is quite favorable. It's quite milder, so you could also take a walk around this particular time. Now, Halifax, Nova Scotia is another wonderful location a lot of people visit. So if you are coming from Nigeria, you're coming from India, you're coming from Pakistan, you understand, from any of the African or Asian or even European countries, you understand, you can also go towards Halifax, Nova Scotia. So based on the research, they said one respondent in the Travel Plus Leisure survey described the capital of Nova Scotia as the up and coming city in Canada. What does that mean? That means that city is fast growing. There are lots of people that are getting to move there. And Halifax, as well as they say, is known for its natural beauty, its forests, and its vibrant waterfront. So a lot of things to see there in terms of the waterfront, in terms of the forest that are there for those that like going for hiking, and for the natural beauty for those that just like to, you understand, um, tour and to visit various destinations over there. So Victoria, British Columbia is one of the wonderful places to also visit in Canada. And he said, according to the readers at Travel Plus Leisure, the capital city of British Columbia is a favorite on the west coast due to its stately British architecture and green spaces. What does that mean? British Columbia, maybe the word British Columbia itself was called from Great Britain. So, in terms of the architecture is looking more or less like similar to the architecture of the Britain or the architecture in Britain. So they said a lot of people like to go there to see one of the wonderful architecture, some of the wonderful architecture, you understand, and some of the green spaces, you understand, the leaves, the gardens and other places that are there that you could also get to enjoy. So many also highlight that recommended both Chat Gardens, located just outside the city, is also a must visit. So the Chat Gardens is one of the very wonderful places a lot of people visit when they actually visit Victoria, British Columbia. Now, why are we saying this for? To immigrants, especially those that are just coming in or those that are planning on their visitor visa. It's very crucial that some of these articles, if you read some of these articles, you can use some of these areas that we are mentioning in your in your travel itinerary when you are working on your visitor visa. You can use some of them to educate or to inform the visa officer that okay, this is where you want to go to, because these are very well-known cities and well-known sites and landmarks. You understand, you are not just going to be a novice stating that you want to come to Canada and not knowing where you are going to, right? You're not just be a novice or not just be anyone that is coming to Canada and possibly get his visa rejected. You will be able to have higher chances of getting your visa approved because you are stating some of these sites, some of these landmarks, some of these places you would like to go to, and the things you like to do. You understand, in Canada, so that once the visa officer sees your visa application for visiting, for tourism, they know that you are well versed. It's not that you are just a novice or maybe people that an agent will just write anything for you there. You'll be much more informed and you'll be much more accorded as a genuine traveler. Because if they don't see you as a genuine traveler, as a genuine visitor, you can get your visa rejected. You understand? So to avoid that, you need to know some of these destinations lots of visitors are coming to, and how to actually plan your own visit when you decide to actually visit Canada, right? So one of the methodologies for the Travel Plus Leisure's World Best Award survey is that cities were rated based on six factors, as you have mentioned. They were rated based on the sites and the landmarks, the beautiful scenery in the locations. They were rated based on the culture, based on the food, the friendliness, how you understand indigenes are friendly and how they are welcoming. It was based on the shopping experience, how you can easily go shop. You understand how there are lots of places you could shop, how you could enjoy your shopping spree, and the value that you actually get from relocating or from visiting or touring. You understand these Canadian cities. So for each category, respondents could rate their experience as whether excellent when they came to Canada, you understand, to visit, or above average, or below average, or even poor. Do you understand? So final scores also reflect the average of these responses across all criteria. So in the year 2025, over 657,000 votes were cast by readers across more than 8,700 entries, including hotels, cruise lines, and cities. So a lot of people actually filled in the form to respond to this particular survey. So the question now is, do you need a visitor visa to travel to Canada? Let's ask ourselves, do you really need a visitor visa to travel to Canada? Well, whether you need a visitor visa to travel to Canada depends on your country of citizenship. You understand? If you are coming from places like Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, most likely you are going to need a visitor visa. You understand? But if you are coming from Europe or from, you understand, Australia or some other places, you may not need a visitor visa. You may just need an electronic travel authorization, an ETA. And there are some locations that are visa free or ETA exempt. I know about Qatar. Indigenes of Qatar now is in recent news. Indigenes of Qatar, or let's say citizens rather, of Qatar can now visit Canada visa free without needing to actually pay for any visitor visa to come into Canada. So that's one of the opportunities or the advantages being in a better country or being a citizen of a better country would give you, right? I will not say better country, but a first world country, let me use it that way. A first world country would give you. So visitor visas. They say foreign nationals require a visitor visa, also known as a temporary residence visa, to enter Canada unless they are visa exempt. And it is important to check the processing times in advance. Now, there are some visitor visas. For example, if you are coming from from Nigeria, the last time we checked, it take about 30 to 60 days to actually get your visitor visa. So the faster you started, the better the opportunity. Just like some of our clients we are talking to right now that want to apply for visitor visa through our immigration consultant, Kesri Immigration and Settlement Services. We say be fast with it because at the tail end of the year and early of the year of next year, Canada is always much more a little bit lenient based on statistics. They are much more lenient or because they are trying to um, meet the cap or meet the threshold that they have set for themselves at the beginning of the year. And at the beginning of the year next year, they are not as strict because they are just getting started. You understand with approving. But when it now gets to the middle of the year, or you understand around like February or March, April, May, things kind of get to change a little. You understand? And we always want people to get visas and to benefit from the advantage of some of the trends that we have noted as regards immigration, you understand, and IRCC. So basically, get started on working on your visitor visa right now if you want to visit the country. This is because now you have to understand something. We're in the winter season, you understand, and a lot of people don't, especially Europeans, you understand, Americans. A lot of people don't come to Canada around this time. Do you understand? Because firstly, it is very cold. You understand? The winter, the snow, and everything. Instead of people coming into the country, a lot of people leave the country around this time, right? They leave this country to like maybe the Caribbean cities. They leave You understand? To even Africa sometimes you may be shocked. They live to other places, to US, you understand, places that are a little bit hot in the US. So basically, right now is the benefit. You have the benefit of still showing your seriousness that you want to visit and being granted a visa easily than someone that wants to come in around the summer period. Yes, they still give visas during the summer period, but the competition is just fierce. More rejections are seen around that particular time. You understand? Are documented around that particular time than around this summer period. I mean, this winter period rather. So you can actually help yourself increase your chances of getting your visas by working on it around this time, especially if you're coming through the visitor visa. So again, if you want us to assist you, you can click on the link aosglobal.org and we can link you up to our consultant. Um, talked about the electronic foreign nationals. Some countries, not every country, for some countries are exempt from needing a Canadian visa, right? But they must still apply for what we know as the electronic travel authorization, which is what which is the ETA. And there are a lot of countries, or some countries, I won't say a lot, they're not really that much. But if you are from countries that have the benefit of, you understand, actually applying, you do yourself a very good service by working on your visa for, you understand, visiting to Canada as soon as you understand, as soon as possible. So basically, who needs an ETA? Who needs an ETA basically when they are coming to Canada? Those that need ETAs, you understand, in the US citizens, you understand. We also have um, countries like Andorra, countries like Australia, they just need the electronic travel authorization to come into Canada. They don't need the visitor visa. So countries like Austria, countries like Bahamas, Barbados, Belgium, British citizens or British nationals overseas, British overseas citizens, and British overseas territory citizens. You understand? And also British overseas territories of Anguilla, Bermuda, British Virgin Islands, Cayman Islands, Falkland Islands, Malvinas, Gibraltar, Montserrat, Pitcairn Islands, St. Helena, Turks and Caicos Islands, British subject with the right of abode in the United Kingdom, Brunei Darussalam, Bulgaria, Chile, Croatia, Cyprus, Czech Republic, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hong Kong, Hungary, Iceland, Ireland, Israel, Italy, Japan, Republic of Korea, Latvia, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Luxembourg, Malta, Monaco, Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Papua New Guinea, Poland, Portugal, Qatar, Romania, Samoa, San Marino, Singapore, Slovenia, Slovakia, Solomon Islands, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Taiwan, United Arab Emirates, and lastly, the Vatican City State. So these are countries where nationals or citizens of those countries just need ETAs, electronic travel authorization, to come into Canada. They don't need to actually get the visitor visa, right? Now, moving on, we also have, um, as I said, electronic travel authorization are for foreign nationals from some countries which we have mentioned right now that are exempt from needing a Canadian visa but must apply for an ETA beforehand to enter Canada by air. They do not need an ETA, you understand, if they are traveling by sea or by land, right? Now, there are some people that have visa or an ETA exempt that they don't need to actually, you understand, get either visa or ETA exempt, and they are ETA exempt. Those are US nationals, those are coming from the United States. I remember my brother once visited Canada. You understand? And funny enough, he just drove into Canada because he's a Canadian, is a United States citizen, he's an American. You understand? So he just drove into Canada from in his car, and once he showed them his nationality, he entered safely into Canada without any issues. So US nationals and even green card holders, if you have green card, if you're a permanent resident in the United States, you understand, and you understand you are both visa and ETA exempt. Whether you're a green card holder in the US or you are a US citizen, a US national, you are visa and ETA exempt. You don't need any of those to enter Canada. Also, we also have French nationals who live in Saint Pierre and Miquelon or Miquelon and are flying directly to Canada from Saint Pierre and Miquelon. They also do not require an ETA. They don't require ETA or visas. You understand? So you can check, of course, if you need visa or are visa exempt by checking the Canadian immigration website. But as a rule of thumb, if you are not in those countries I mentioned before, you are not visa exempt. And if you are not a US national, a US citizen, or from Saint Pierre and Miquelon, you are not visa exempt and ETA exempt. So basically, you are going to need to get a visa. If you are from Nigeria, Ghana, Burkina Faso, you understand, Dubai, I mean, not citizen of Dubai. You are just like a traveler in Dubai. You went there to work. You went there to study. When you are coming to Canada, you would also need a what? A visitor visa. All right. So we come to the end of the best cities to visit in Canada, according to what the travelers have actually informed us about. If you have any questions, this is the time to ask. Drop your questions in the comment section, and we'll do justice to responding to it as we see it. If you don't forget every week we'll come on at least once every week live to talk about trending topics, news articles, and to give you updates about what is going on in Canada. You understand? We choose from those that are trending, you understand, to talk to you from them. So if you want to always join us, don't forget to subscribe, to also follow us on some of these social media platforms. You know, we always join on LinkedIn, we join on YouTube, on Facebook, you understand, on Instagram, on TikTok, TikTok channel. So you can always join subsequently once you follow or subscribe to it. And don't forget to like and share with your friends and your family. Let's get more and more people to actually join and to learn from all what we have for them. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And we do hope to see you in our next live sessions. Don't forget to have live sessions at least once every week. So you can always join our subsequent live sessions. Okay, Jim Missile says, "What's up, UNC?" Okay, what's up? How you doing? How's everything? Thank you so much for liking our live session. Really do appreciate you for liking. Really appreciate you for joining as well. So, if you have any questions, this is the time to ask and we can respond to, or even comments. If you have any comments, it's not compulsory to have questions. If you have any comments, you understand, or updates or anything you'd like to share, this is the time to share it. Thank you so much. I see Ojoto Olakweju liking our live session. Oh, that's my sister. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you for liking. All right. Thank you for joining once more. If you don't have any questions, then I'm gonna sign out. Sign out. So bye for now, everyone. Au revoir. Bye.